I made an Iron Mouse livery. She's a popular VTuber from VShojo. I don't think the purple is quite the right purple. I kind of wanted to have the purple match the accents in the hair, but the accents are a little bit too dull. It didn't look right with that kind of purple either. I think I need a brighter purple. It's a very intense purple, but it's darker. But the darker background helps the distinction between the words and the background for Iron Mouse right there. And onto the Simrig news, I guess, is that I finally bolted down my pedals. So before I had it just resting on some set screws in the wood. That's the backing for the footboard. And every time I pressed the brake really hard, it would come out of the position that I had it set in. So I drilled some holes and bolted it down, essentially. The previous wheel set I had, it worked fine with the set screws I was using. But now I have an upgrade and it feels right. I have the brake force pressure much higher. I'm going to show these car settings. I've already showed this car before. However, I hadn't driven it with the wheel. These are the settings, racing softs, and this car needs racing tires because the front spring doesn't go any softer than this. So I can't use, I can use sports tires, but it just understeers too much. I don't know how it'll handle, or how I'll be able to handle it with the new brake pressure setting. I might be able to trail brake better. Also, with the race tires, I'm using ABS and brake controller set to 5, and these are no mods here. This is, if you bought this car, this is the touring car you can see in the top left. And onto driving. I'm just going to do a few laps. Using the H pattern, because that was another problem with the pedals before I bolted them down, was even the clutch pedal was too strong for the previous mounting situation. Missed the brake zone. Can't see the apex with the A-pillar on the other side. Very short gearing. And it's not specifically geared for this track, but the maximum speed is so low, it can't go much faster than what 6 is set to. I didn't show the gearing, whatever. If you want to copy the settings, you can just derive the gearing on your own. Or it's in the other video I have of this car. Heel toe is much easier to do with a stiffer brake pressure. I don't know where to brake here. I think somewhere between, oh, missed the gear, 50 and 100, so around 75. Have to shift to third here. So to make the car more stable on the brakes, so it doesn't do that. It's still too unstable. I put some, installed it. I put some anti-roll. I'll just go and change the settings some more. It's too unstable still. Put some anti-roll in the rear. I'm not sure it was enough. I kind of prefer raise the rear spring rate. I'm going to go to 3.5, just random. There's no method to choosing this number. I don't necessarily want anti-roll in the rear. Let me go to 2.6 or 3.6. All right, let's see how that does. So this is with ABS, so I might be able to increase the front spring stiffness. And maybe with these pedal settings I can drive on the sports soft compound. I still get oversteer, I don't know. So what I just did, I took out anti-roll and put in spring rate, or stiffer spring rate in the rear. What that did was increase the, what do you call it? It was but basically the same roll stiffness, maybe. I don't know how exact that was, but it changes the way the car loads up in the corner, and that's because the vertical spring, not the roll stiffness, but the actual vertical spring stiffness is higher. It pushes the front tires into the road more on lateral load versus having more roll stiffness given by the anti-roll. And what that does is I get the same benefit of stability on the brakes, but by reducing the roll oversteer, but I also get the benefit of mid-corner performance in that the front tires are pushed into the road more strongly when I turn the car. Oh, missed the gear again. Turned in too early. Much more stable on the brakes. Again, a stiffer rear spring on a front-wheel drive car causes stability because it reduces roll oversteer. So I understeered there on the brakes because it has too much stability. I might need to take out some of the rear spring stiffness. So the reason why the front-wheel drive car is oversteering on the brakes is because the car is rolling while, or the body of the car is rolling left and right in the entry, depending on which direction the turn is going, while the car is also diving on the brakes, and that is called jacking. Getting good rotation on the brakes, and it's stable. Maybe I just had a bad input in that previous corner I was talking about. So I'm not comparing speed, I'm just comparing feel. I didn't get a good benchmark for a lap time with this car before I made changes. I noticed that the more oversteer I can tune into the car and still drive smoothly, the faster I can go. That's a general conclusion. It's not always true, especially with the performance points exploits. Oh, missed the gear. With performance points, it's actually better to have more understeer and just reduce the weight and increase the horsepower. But if the weight and horsepower is not changing, I want more controllable oversteer. And generally, I can drive a car faster with, as long as the oversteer is controllable, more oversteer. I turned the maximum force way down on the force feedback in the game. On the wheel it's set to 90, whatever 90 is, whether it be 90% or just a number, I don't know what it is. Way wide. So what that does is it prevents force feedback clipping. So right now the wheel feels like it's putting out a maximum force similar to the G29, but the G29's maximum force, like total output, not just simulated feel, but its total output was 2.5 Newton meters. And that means it was clipping all the other force feedback detail that is just not being communicated to me because it was being clipped off the top of the force wave. The force feedback wave form, if that makes any sense. So anyway, with this, it has a maximum torque of 8 Newton meters with the boost kit. I have it set to 90, which is less, so it's going to be less than 8 Newton meters maximum force. And then they have the in-game force feedback maximum force output really low. So it's definitely not clipping. Even at less than 8 Newton meters maximum torque, it's definitely not clipping. So the reason why I turned down the force feedback for Gran Turismo, but also WRC10, is because the cars that I drive should have power steering, and the lower maximum force feels like power steering, or feels closer to power steering than really high maximum force simulated in the game. Too wide. Honestly, I think there should be more rotation. Well, the off throttle, that is, more rotation off throttle with the open differential on an open initial torque lock. Oh, missed the gear. There's very little force feedback adjustments in Gran Turismo. But I'm going to show my settings real quick after I finish this lap. Seems like I'm consistently slower. Oh, there's a faster lap. Anyway, my force feedback settings are max torque of 2. I would prefer 2.5. 3 is a little bit too much, and 2 is a little too little, but I want to lean on lower than higher, mostly because when it's, what is it, the power steering thing, but also my wood and PVC Simrig does not handle high forces very well, and also my TV and everything is shaking, so I want to reduce the amount of force put into the Simrig by lowering the feedback. And I don't know exactly what this does. Apparently, I guess it's speed sensitivity, and on a straight line I want linear. I don't know what linear is. I don't know if 10 is too progressive and it's supposed to be at 5, or if 1. I think 1 is definitely the feedback gets based on the words decreases the values. Wait, the steering becomes gentler at lower values. So I don't want that. I want it to be linear. I don't know if 10 is linear. Or maybe 5 is linear. I hope 10 is linear. But anyway, whatever. These are the settings. And controller, it's for controller. and that's what this is what I use for the controller, is a sensitivity of 7. And watch a little replay. I think the livery is missing something. You need a picture on the bumper, the rear bumper, and hatch lid. It's a real simple livery. It's not like one of the really nice ones that you can find on the showcase area. I think there's some aero mods I could get for the car, but I wanted to keep it mostly as it was when I purchased it in the used car menu. These front-wheel drive cars are really fun in Gran Turismo. They're not as understeery as they used to be in previous iterations. But anyway, that was a lap. Mostly just an update video on the Simrig, and a little driving to add, and a livery. Till the next one.